Welcome to our novel, Sons of Power. Hit that like button and subscribe to our channel if you have not done so already.
My mother, my brother, they were there, and I could not do much to help them. Hours of anguish went on as we closely monitored the situation. 2 battalions of Polynesian Marines were deployed, under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Vincent Wahitawahe. Additionally, the 1st Airborne Brigade of Colonel Yashiro Watanabe took off, with the crucial mission to engage in urban warfare before being supported by the Marines, who would arrive through the city's port. Finally, our Navy's Atlantic plane carrier headed towards northern Kitonga to assist with airstrikes. It was escorted by our Navy's Atlantic battleship, the HMS Paul Alexander HPW. Around 9 local time, the 1st Airborne soldiers made landfall north of Kogoma and began moving towards the city, where piles of smoke could already be seen. Through a secure radio channel, they were able to communicate with members of the Imperial Guard, who told them the situation inside the city was chaotic and that the Imperial Palace was under heavy fire. The men proceeded further and began engaging with the enemy around 10 o'clock. The clashes were violent, but our better trained military started to make gains, moving steadily towards the Imperial Palace. Our soldiers reported civilians lying dead in the streets in the thousands, a sight of horror that shocked us all. Around 11:23, we finally received news from my mother, who was being escorted to safety by members of the Praetorian Guard. They informed command that she was in a game reserve north of the city, where the network access was scarce. As they realized landlines were cut, one of the men went ahead to the city to scout if it was safe, as per his training. Upon realizing the city is under attack, he came back to the game reserve, and the squad agreed to escort my mother and brother out of the country via the sea. Through army channels, they were able to disclose their location to the Polynesian Marines, who organized their exfiltration by helicopter to Kauri town. By the time our men made it to the Imperial Palace, it was already infested with enemy soldiers. A violent fire exchange ensued, and in the end, they captured the premises, making a terrible discovery in the process. My Lord Grandfather, Emperor Felix of Clan Wabonga, ruler of Kitonga, Loango, Kanyonga, and Kiwanda, fell to the enemy fire, along with his son, Lord Festus, and their entire household. The odious crime was a war declaration, not only against the imperial clan Wabonga, but against Roman Polynesia. Upon her arrival, my mother, who was not aware of the development in Kogoma, was pleased to see me. They were both safe, and that is all that mattered. She eventually asked if I had news from Kogoma, to which I replied, "The men are fighting to secure the city as we speak. We should hear more soon." As the day ended, the city was captured by our troops, who routed the enemy. Hundreds of thousands were displaced, thousands were dead, and Lord Protector Kalekini made a televised address to inform all the enemies of Kitonga and Roman Polynesia of what was to come. I informed my mother about the tragic fate of her relatives. Upon hearing my words, she started crying, to the point she had no more strength. She eventually collapsed and was taken to her quarters. As I looked upon Caesar, I could sense the lad fully understood what was happening. I was shocked as well, but these were difficult times. I could not show signs of sadness, for my mind was in Kogoma, among the soldiers who bravely fought to secure the city. In his speech, Lord Kalekini made it clear, this coward's move was another testament of powerful forces thinking they can operate without consequences. He promised the swift retribution of Roman Polynesian forces and the end of the Kombo regime, as well as war to any nation that would dare to interfere in this conflict. He announced the deployment of our nuclear arsenal, as I expressly told him this would be a powerful deterrent to foreign powers involved. I was convinced that Kombo's boldness was surely not only based on his own military capability, but outside influence could be a key factor as well. The international community condemned our military invasion. It seemed the death of my grandfather was not something worth condemning. some African states did call for sanctions on the Kombo regime, following this dreadful act. It became obvious that Western powers were more concerned about our military invasion, rather than the genocidal drive of Kombo. France, which had a base of 2,500 soldiers in Mayonda, called for all parties to de-escalate. A no-fly zone over Kitonga was decreed, and our Air Force had orders to shoot down any plane which dared to violate it. More Navy vessels left the command centre of Morea in the Caribbean Sea to enforce a naval blockade on Mayonda as well. With Kogoma fully secured, my mother returned, bringing with her hundreds of soldiers, members of the Imperial Guard of Kitonga, who were training in the Cariades. Additionally, 2 Sakali warlords from southern Kanyonga, members of the extended Wabonga clan, crossed the border to pledge their men to the cause. It was Marcellus Abima and Alexander Wayamba, 4th cousins of my mother. They brought with them 2,000 men, whose primary objective was to head eastwards with the Imperial Guard and reclaim the eastern city of Bigwa, which fell to militiamen from Kiwanda.
In the next episode, Roman Polynesia and the Crown of Kitonga, at this point under the leadership of Lady Ayila, initiate a counteroffensive to depose the Kombo regime. Will they be successful, or will the international community intervene? We appreciate the time you took to watch the entirety of our video and would be honored to count you among our new subscribers. Thus, if you have not done it yet, we invite you to hit the subscribe button here and click on the notification bell to be notified about our upcoming videos. We are hoping to count you among our viewers in the next episode. See you then. Cheers.